This is your Heel Tough Blog National Signing Day update. I'm Anthony Pagnotta. On the recruiting trail on Wednesday, first day of the early signing period 2019, the Tar Heels had some big storylines. It started out, of course, with the commitment of 2019 three-star strong side defensive end Tomari Fox, who hails from Sewanee, Georgia. Of course, the brother of Timon Fox, a little bit of a shocker, as Georgia Tech came in as the favorite, but Carolina walked away with his commitment. Shortly after that, at 8 a.m., Tristan Miller, the offensive tackle, the four-star offensive tackle from right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, announced his commitment to the Tar Heels. A big mauler. Miller will be a great fit on the blind side for head coach Mack Brown and offensive line coach Brandon Jones in the coming years. That will be sandwiched, of course, with 15 of the 16 commits entering the day, signing their letters of intent. The only one so far that has not signed his letter of intent is four-star wide receiver Chafry Brown, but he will sign that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock at a special signing day event at West Meck High School. Everybody else has officially signed their letters of intent to this point. Cadre Jackson was the last one to sign his. He will officially announce his commitment tomorrow at a press conference at his school down in Windermere, Florida, that is. Meanwhile, the big storyline of the day, four-star pro-style quarterback Sam Howell has officially flipped his commitment to Carolina. The superstar from the state of North Carolina, the North Carolina High School Gatorade Player of the Year in 2018, and one of the best quarterbacks to ever come through the state, will end up staying home as he will spurn Florida State for the Tar Heels. A late push from Mack Brown and company after offensive coordinator Walt Bell left for Massachusetts is the difference. And the Tar Heels have their headliner in the 2019 class and a quarterback that reminds some of gunslingers like Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes. How he will fit this offense and how early he will be able to have an impact are some questions, but it seems like as of right now, this is a huge commitment for the Tar Heels. Keep it here on the Heel Tough Blog podcast and the Heel Tough Blog itself for updates throughout the rest of the early signing period. It is not expected that any other commits will take place. It is expected that Chafry Brown will be the last Tar Heel to sign his letter of intent, but there is still a late signing period coming up in February, the normal signing period, as you guys remember, 4 years. There will be some interesting targets that will still have their chance to sign. Ray Voshik, the strong side defensive end, a JUCO transfer, is expected to postpone his decision until then, as he does want to take a visit to Chapel Hill before he ends up making his decision. Another one to keep an eye on, three-star outside linebacker Octavius Brothers, who was all over Twitter congratulating all of the Tar Heel commits today and is one of the big targets for this new staff. Eugene Asante, the outside linebacker, player out of Virginia, is another one to keep an eye on as the Tar Heels entered the race for him late. This is a guy that has gotten a little bit hot on the recruiting trail late, and the Heels will be amongst a group that contains both Virginia Tech and Maryland, the early leaders in the clubhouse for his services. So it will be interesting to see if the Heels are able to make a push. As always, you guys can check out the podcast on Spreaker, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn.com, or the TuneIn app. Of course, check out the blog on Medium.com. We had the signing day thread today. There will be an article going up about Sam Howell and his commitment to Carolina to tell you just what he brings to the table for the Tar Heels, and we'll be talking more and more about it throughout the next couple of days as to what type of impact he could have early on at Carolina. Also coming up on the Heel Tough Blog podcast, we will be talking to some of the commits about their decisions to go to Carolina. On the schedule, Storm Duck. We are expecting him tomorrow sometime around 5 p.m. Earlier in the day, we will hope to talk to 2019 wide receiver Emery Simmons. Justin Olson is also a guy that has contacted me back, and we're expecting to hopefully have him on the show at some point. And the same with 2019 safety Giovanni Biggers. There will be a article that will be released once everybody has officially signed. So, following tomorrow's commitment from Joffrey Brown, or at least signing of his letter of intent, there will be an article that will be released where we will break down the rankings of all the players, give you a little blurb about everyone so you can learn as much as possible about these guys in this 2019 recruiting class as they get ready to head up to Chapel Hill in January to early enroll, or at least it seems most of them. It looks like three-star strong side defensive end Christian Varner, as of later tonight, will not be heading up as an early enrollee. At least that's what he said on his Twitter feed. But it seems like most of the other guys, at least to this point, will be headed up there as early signees. So I want to thank you guys for listening. This has been your 2019 early signing day update after day one on the Heel Tough Blog podcast. And as always, go Tar Heels.